Pleasant good morning, one and all. Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, the 9th day of October in the year 2024. Welcome, one and all. It's good to see you on the program. Hope you had a wonderful night's rest and hope you are strapped in and waiting the credible, valuable information. Again, we have lots to tell you. So make sure you get your snack, make sure you get your little water, you have a comfortable seat, and you are not going to be disappointed. Again, I got to commend you people. Your program was scheduled exactly 7 o'clock, and immediately the schoolyard was so the gate open. People in the schoolyard, dozens are gone into hundreds now in the schoolyard, just waiting for the school door to be open, which we did just a short while ago. Well, I got to always admonish y'all. You come on, hundreds of persons already on this live, and you're not giving me the thumbs up. You're not giving me the thumbs up. You're not showing your appreciation. All I ask for is for you to give us a thumbs up. And I told you guys that you need to subscribe to the channel. Many persons, many regulars here have not subscribed to the channel on YouTube. They have not hit the notification button, and therefore they don't get the notifications when I post them. Many of you are not following the page on Facebook. You're going to get suspended, Students will be suspended for this type of misbehavior, for failing to follow instructions. You are going to be suspended. But not as yet. Not as yet. I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourselves. So welcome. Wednesday, the 9th day of October, 2024. Another good day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. So many people have not been this fortunate. And even some of them who have been fortunate to be in the land of the living, they can't rest. They are haunted. They're haunted because of their wickedness, because of their vindictiveness, because of their evil deeds. They can't rest easily. They're sleeping, but they're not resting. Right? They're sleeping, but they're not resting. Thankfully, thank the Lord, I can rest, I can sleep, I can enjoy life. Many of them can't do that. They get all the money that they want. They do all sorts of things to get all sorts of filthy lucre, but they can't enjoy it. They cannot and they will not enjoy it. So yes, we have a lot to tell you this morning. When we went live, when the program was scheduled, so many students poured into the schoolyard. It was gratifying. Once you open the gate, they came in. And then once we went live a while ago, the people on Facebook joined us. And again, I said, when you look at the number of students in the classroom daily, 1,500, 1,600, 2,000, we're rolling. And I appreciate your support. Very few live broadcasts now get the type of live viewing that we have. And we thank you for that. We thank you. And we do not take this lightly. That is why we make sure that we research and we come and we give you valuable and credible information. Because I suspect strongly that if the information wasn't credible, you would not have been coming here so early and sitting and waiting. People have been complimenting us, and we thank you for that, on the type of research and the type of information we provide. And today is going to be no different. They will be no different. We have lots to tell you. In the notification for the program today, I said that we're going to discuss the impending appointment of the Commissioner of Police. How are we going to do it? Because I see people writing us other things. We need to set the record straight. People are writing all kind of lies, all kind of misinformation. The propaganda people are out. So we are going to set the record straight. We're going to bring you dates. We're going to bring you facts. And as we said, we know that you are not intellectually lazy. So when we tell you this thing, we don't want you to necessarily believe what we say. Go and do the checks. As I've said repeatedly on this program, they are yet to challenge us with anything, successfully challenge us with anything that we have said on this program. They can't, because it's the truth. It's the truth. It's there in the records. We have institutional memory, which we bring to your attention. So, and they don't get me woke up. My blood pressure, all right. So when you see I get a little agitated and so on, the blood pressure ain't going nowhere. As I tell you all, the thing said that me when Ikin is appointed, slow and can't blood pressure can go up. They got, no. I've never suffered from blood pressure. I enjoy, thankfully, thank to the Lord, I enjoy good health. And I said I believe this because I honored my parents, my father and my mother. I took care of them. I made sure that they did not want for anything. And there's blessings, man. Blessings. Country man said they get blessings and more blessings. God, they're blowing good wind on you. You know, this is what say the country. Them old people who pass and gone, they're blowing good wind on you. So you're prospering. You're prospering. And prosperity is not about money, you know. Let me understand this. Prosperity is not about money. Is a state of mind. Is a state of mind, and is the way people see you and how they respect you. Respect cannot be bought. Let's understand it clearly. Respect cannot be bought. Respect has to be earned. Respect is not as a result of the position you hold. That is how you get respect. So you can be president, you can be vice president, you can be commissioner, you can be ministers. You are in many cases you are not respected because respect is something that you have to earn. Having said that, let me again say it is good to be in the land of the living. We have a lot to tell you, so I'm going to try and fly through the roll call. I'll fly through the roll call this morning, and then we're going to go into the substance of the program. Where we schedule at 12, where we schedule at 7, we had Wayne from the UK as the first man. He and Tessa came in together. They both came in at 7:01. Congratulations to you. Early students, I did warn you yesterday, notification, that you should make sure that you are early because we have lots to tell you. Then we have Carlton, Ulrich from West Dem, Lennox, Magnell, or the original black man. They came in at 7:01. Kay, John, then we had Kenneth, Pauline, Brian, Anka, Anthony. They all came in at 7:01. And then the next batch of students we had in the next batch we had Derek, Jati, Earl, African Queen, Dexter, Evelyn, Courtney, George, Aubrey from Canada, Floyd. They came in at 7:02. Then we had Rawl, Clifton 9339, Winston from California, Floyd, Rawl, Gary, Joan from New Amsterdam, Carl, Wayne, Diane, Anthony, Peter, Denise, Jakey from Maryland, Malcolm, Randolph, Tamo, Patricia, Annette, Clive from the UK, Everett from Texas, Malvok, I miss you. You weren't in class for a few days. Puran from Essequibo Coast, Lynette from the UK, Clarence. Then we have Terrence from California, Marcus Vibert, and this is Vibert Larson in New York. Natasha Barlett from Linden is here. Queenie, Joseph, Desiree from Georgia, Ulrich from Barbados, Sean from Schenectady, upstate New York, Patricia, Ian from Queens, Rhonda, and this is Rhonda Chance, Hazel, Winston from the UK, Sydney, Barbara, Orin from the UK, Carlisle, Bonita, Charles, but BX, I miss you, man. BX from New Jersey, Felicia, Court, says number was 14598, Emerson, then we have Sandra, Francis Keith, hope you had a wonderful birthday. He celebrated his birthday, I think it was Monday. Hope you enjoyed your day. You have Michael Samuels, Derek, Bert, Princess Earl, Kevin, Isabella, Philip, Patricia, this is Patricia Atterley, Mary, Howard, Vibert, the next Vibert Smith, Ako, Izzy, Ezra from Queens, Onika, George from BV, Walterine, Brenda, Abera, the Angel is here. Angel, Diane, Lucius, Maryland, Colin, this is Colin Barnett. You have other Collins. Diane, Amanda, Winslow is here. Then after Winslow, it is Roslyn. I can't recall seeing this person before. Welcome. Joseph, Linton, Colin. This is the next Colin. This is Colin Stanford, and he is from Queens. Siobhan, Eric Williams is here. After Eric, let me put Eric is here. Yeah, Eric. Then we have Umi. Danny is here. Jacko from Georgia. Jacko, hope y'all get over that licks with Amazon wire. Got you know. I haven't seen Dan. I ain't see Aileen. I worry I got to send out a missing person for Aileen. Because since Amazon take the leak Sunday night, I haven't seen her. She was not in class on Monday, and she's not in class today. I get a little worried for these cricketers who get their leaks. I got the tape to show you all a little later in the program with the same cricket. Clifton is here from Paris. Doreen from Canada, my squad mate, and Ainsworth, they used to call EK. Forgus, Russ Ricardo. Then the other rounder is here. Then I'm still in the house. Then we have Melissa, Lorraine, Sharon, George, Marva, William, Marcus. This is who? Ryston, Richard, Marvin, the man Agla is here. Colin from New Jersey. Then we have Stephen, Trevor, Ronald, Cecile. The other Vibort is here, the man from the East Bank. He said, one people, one nation, one destiny. That is our motto. Leon Schwartz is here. Randolph Jr., Karen, Pamela Westdam, Trevor. Mr. G is in the house. After Mr. G, we have Connolly. Vornan is another Vornan. Beckles. Dennis from Barbados is here. Mr. G. Bevan. Then is Glendis. Henrik. Harold. Marcus. Jason. Then we have, after Jason, we have Melville. Sherwin. Can't recall seeing Sherwin before. Desiree. O'Neill. David. R. Crawford. Devian. Ivla. Cricketer. Moriel. Can recall seeing Moriel before as well. Barbara is here. Charles, this is Charles Britton. Conor Marukman is in the house. Boo. Mark Campbell. Orville. Terrence TK from California. Cedric. Pownell or Puel or whatever it is pronounced. Moses. Roxanne. Sandrine. Chilo. Roderick. John Smart. Then we have Sheena, Delanio, Clayton, Clayton Lambert. Then we have Tony, was as the last person on YouTube. Then when we went live, we have Karen. We have, after Karen, Joan came back, Lennox, Joyce, Lynette from Barbados, Cecile, Trifosa is here, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, as I've said, the roll call is always will take up some time because you get a lot of people. We do it to tell you that when we talk about hundreds and hundreds of people in the schoolyard waiting for classes to start, we're not bluffing. We're not giving no fib. We see the roll call and you know what it is. Now for the announcements, let me tell you, board day. Thankfully again, we don't have any death to announce. Board days, today is the board anniversary, they said, should say, of retired woman assistant superintendent Selena Marshall. All the best to you, Selena. Today also is the birth anniversary of ex-detective Lance Corporal 11576 Aubrey Janier. And today is also the birth anniversary of a follower of this program, Marlon Harper. Brando, happy birthday to you and all those who are celebrating today. So Marlon, not a police, never was a police, but he's a follower, ardent follower of this program. He don't miss a session, and he's celebrating his natal day today. Happy birthday to all those who are celebrating today. And we have a belated birthday greetings goes out to Lucius Prescott, the one from La France, the club, old police, presidential guard, and all that. He celebrated a birth anniversary recently. I want to extend happy birthday greetings to all those who are celebrating today, all those who celebrated recently, and wish that the good Lord will continue to spare you to see many, many, many more birthdays. It's a blessing, you know, to be able to see another birth anniversary. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then I'm gonna go into some issue. CC, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Morning to our viewers, listeners. It's a pleasure. Praise the Lord that we are all in the land of the living. Birthday greetings to all those persons you mentioned, especially Selena. We met a couple of days ago, had a nice little conversation. Well, as you mentioned, we have so much to deal with this morning, so let's get on with it.
Michael, the boxing announcers said, let's get it on. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Before we get ready to rumble, CC, please indulge me. They had this cricket match or the cricket tournament, the CPL recently, and there was the big controversy when the lights went out. And I think because of that, Barbados was able to defeat Trinidad Knight Riders. Now, a good friend of mine, a student on this program from Jamaica, sent me this clip this morning to basically the thing was investigated, and this is what the people found. So this is what transpired. Look at it.
Change of ends dispatched. First Republic Bank maximum for contest. He goes again, back-to-back sixes from Puran.
Pamel leg side and hit with the wind, so it carries and goes for a Republic Bank maximum.
Yeah, hello?
You in position?
Yeah, I reach.
Alright, cut the lights.
Huh?
Cut the lights!
Can you hear what you say, boy?
Cut the lights! Just cut the lights.
Alright, that's all. I'm looking for the switch.
Goes for the uppercut. Smart batting.
Hey, brother, just make sure I'm my US or we discuss, eh?
Yes, I will meet you outside the stadium.
So, Hannah, where you want to do this again for?
You park the hour.
What? You're calling me stupid, dog?
No, I never said that.
Then I will abandon mission to play man, you know?
I never said that.
Yeah, I will retire this whole thing like Bravo, boy. Don't play with me, boy, dog, boy.
Just cut the lights.
Yeah, whatever. Just make sure I'm my US, dog.
Me and Sucking will solve this season Amazon all the way.
Well, you're afraid, Puran?
Okay, I prefer to face Barbados.
Yeah, that way it is.
Just cut the lights.
Just know that, dog. I'm looking for the switch, boy.
Sounded very good from Russell.
I feel I find it there, boy.
You got it?
Yeah, now switch it over there.
Artificial lights just going off, so we will have a pause in play as we await the return of the lights. A couple of the pylons off.
Tell you, don't study it, boy. I's your buck for the day, boy. Just make sure I'm my US when I come out there, dog. Let's go, Amazon!
I hope you find that as funny as I did. I said, I got to light up your morning. This morning, man. My friend sent it to me, and I had to play it, man. I got to play it. I got to repeat it at some stage. So now, they say that is what transpired, man. Conspiracy, cut the lights, man. Cut the lights. And the lights were cut. Now, all right, good. There's the icebreakers and so on. I think you're relaxed now and you're ready for proper class. Now, the first thing I want us to discuss or to tell you about, not really discuss, I am still laughing as I found that so funny. Now, the corporate communications unit of the Ghana Police Force is a serious thing. It's at it again. Now, recently, a plane was found in Region 9. That is the Latam region, we discussed Region 9. On some illegal airstrip. Police gave out a release. The Corporate Communication Unit made a release on the 6th, 3 days ago. They said alleged illegal aircraft intercepted in a village in South Rupununi. They named the village. Then they go on to say on October the 6th, 2024, approximately 10:55 hours, based on information received regarding an aircraft attempting to land at an illegal airstrip at Bayazon, or whatever the village name, South Rupununi, the following investigation was conducted. Commander of the Regional Police Division, Region 9, they put the name, Senior Superintendent, they put the name, along with Inspector, they put the name, Detective Sergeant, they put the name, Sergeant, they put the name, and other ranks of the Ghana Police Force, accompanied by 3 members of the Custom Anti-Narcotics Unit, visited the scene. And then they go on. I'm saying it again. I don't know what value will be given to this release by exposing these officers in this manner. You know, we live in dangerous times. And you get illegal aircraft. Many times it is drugs, the cartels shipping drugs. They claim that this one was mercury. You know, mercury is used in the gold production industry. But why name the officers who were on this operation? Why name them? You are just exposing them to unnecessary peril, to danger. And again, I calling on them, calling on the same extended squatter. Very soon, perhaps you can't call the extended squatter. People like the crime chief, they should put a stopping to this. The people from the police association, Minister Ben, they should intervene and instruct that in these operations, the names of the rank should not be mentioned, because the names add no value to this release that they're giving. All they're doing is putting the people at risk, because next is retaliation. Oh, you seize me aircraft, you seize me gold, you seize me drugs, you seize me body. This thing is serious. And then coming down to the bottom, they said they get information. They say as the ranks approached, they observed two fair-skinned males exited the aircraft and boarded in a pickup. However, the ranks got closer, the pickup turned and drove into a southern direction. One of the men fell from the vehicle in the process. Simultaneously, the pickup collided with the plane, causing damage to the right wing and front propeller. And hear this part, buddy. Hear this part. The police ranks quickly apprehended the man who had fallen from the vehicle. Despite discharging 2.38 rounds in an attempt to stop the fleeing vehicle, the vehicle managed to cross the Takatu River into neighboring Brazil, making good his escape. These men, yeah, please. I mean, if I say it looks unprofessional for me to laugh, like I can't help it. You go in an operation, because remember, let me understand this. When they get the word about this aircraft, I'm sure all of them would have thought that is another drug plane. I don't know if it was a drug plane or not. They say later on that it was mercury, the things for you. You're going on this operation. The commander, the Kali name, the inspector, the two sergeants, and all of them going in operation. And when they try to apprehend this vehicle, they discharge 2 rounds for a .38 revolver. In attempt, they said that despite discharging 2.38 rounds in an attempt to stop a fleeing pickup, the vehicle managed to cross the Takatu River and go to Brazil. Now tell me how 2.38 rounds could have been intended to stop a fleeing pickup. You tell me this. I'm saying this again. I'm saying this. I know because we're talking about it on this program, they are going to be defiant and continue to expose these ranks to danger. They're going to continue to expose them to danger. All these type of operations, they're putting the police name in press release who've been in the operation. The next thing you know, you get drug bust and millions of dollars gone down the drain. People likely to target those persons because they know who are involved. They target them, they target their family. And that is the incompetence that you have coming out of the corporate communications unit headed by a civilian Mark Ramatar. And I'm saying the policemen, including Clifton Akin, Wendell Blanham, Budram, WhatsApp operations, right? The ministry perhaps should get involved and give instruction to Mark Ramatar, the head of the corporate communications unit, that when these things happen, you ought not to name, you must not ought to, you instruct him, you must not name the police ranks who are involved in the operation. It is not necessary to name them. But let me say too, before I bring in Mr. Conway, because Mark Ramatar is based in Georgetown. This is an operation that took place in Region 9. The only way you can get the information, because they're sending the information, they would have sent the names of the people who are involved in this operation, the policemen who are involved in this operation, so that Mark Ramatar can get it. They would have done that. So I'm cautioning y'all, I'm warning, I'm cautioning. Be careful. It is not necessary to release the names of the ranks who are involved in this type of operations. They are being exposed to danger because it can get the people can get retribution where people come after them or come after the family. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. CCS show you would have seen this release. What are your views, my brother?
I totally agree with you. Why are they exposing the ranks who went on the operation? It will have spin-off effects, sometimes with deadly consequences. But then, maybe nobody in reining in Ramatar. Ramatar putting in what you want for putting. I know in our times that certain information going out, you got to send it to the commissioner for vetting. You got to send it to the commissioner for vetting, and he say, hey, don't put in this one. You know the things. And then look at the operation. .38 revolver. A .38 revolver going on a big plane landing illegally, with drugs, with his arms and ammunition, and you're going with a .38 revolver. Perhaps that's the only thing they were trained to use, Maybe it's a good thing they're more not trained to use .38 revolver. Yeah? What kind of operation is that? Or could you stop a plane or stop people with a .38 revolver? And then you're exposing all the ranks. And then look at it. Like they don't know in intelligence this time. Like the police don't walk the ground. Like they don't patrol the Rupunui Savannah. Yeah? They don't have motorcycle. They don't have ATVs. They don't patrol. I know no matter they don't have informants about the place. The villagers don't talk to the police. The Amerindian captain and they don't relate to the police. They don't get intelligence. Something is radically wrong, and it says about 4 miles away. I think it's a known area. I think it's a little more than that, maybe about 5 or 6 miles away. But where is the intelligence? Where the intelligence there? Where the CID there? Where the special branch there? Where the regional intelligence committee there with all these things going on in the place there? No proper intelligence. So plane gonna come and touch down. The next thing you touch them with arms and ammunition. Next thing it may be an invasion and all sort of things. So it's horrible, and especially the reporting and then the type of operation they launch. I know whether you could call it an operation.
No, well, let me say this too, is, this is part of the teaching. I have been involved in many operations. I used to be the head of the operations in the force and so on. Something like this. And, sometimes I sympathize with these guys who are in charge of some of these places because they haven't had the type of exposure and training. But you get information about illegal aircraft based on all that is going on. You have to have a proper briefing. You sit down and you brief, arm your ranks properly because you don't know what to expect. You have to go there expecting the worst. You have to expect that people might fire on you, and you have to take up strategic positions and return fire. And when you hear that they fired .38 revolver, I cannot imagine that was the only firearm they went there with. I would have thought they would have gone with more high-powered weapons, and maybe it's just the person with the revolver fire. But for the corporate communication, you need to tell Guyana and the world that I'm going to read back. The police ranks quickly apprehended the man who had fallen from the vehicle, and despite discharging 2.38 rounds in an attempt to stop the fleeing pickup, the vehicle managed to cross the Takatu River into neighboring Brazil, making good his escape. Now tell me how this .32 rounds, this 2.38 rounds would have been intended to stop a pickup that is fleeing. I can't understand that. I cannot understand how you're going to fire a pow-pow, a water gun, nobody's called a pow-pow. You fire a pow-pow, a revolver, 2 rounds, bam, bam, and that was intended to stop the pickup from fleeing into neighboring Brazil. This is a comedy show. A comedy show. And as we say, when you get clowns who are leading, it's a circus you have. And we see in this circus every day. And the circus might have deadly consequences. Because when, again, I say, you have the corporate communication unit giving out the names of the ranks who are involved. Senior superintendent, inspector, by name, they're naming them in the thing. They're naming these people in this release. And apparently nothing is being done to tell them that you can't do that. And again, I call on all of those who can and should intervene, including Ikin, Blanham, Budram, Watts, the operation man. Then you got maybe at the ministry level, Jerry Govaya, the national security advisor. This thing has national security implications. National security implications when planes are landing and that. And not only landing of the plane, but then when the people mount an operation, the name gone out there who mount the operation. So you might very well get a situation where now people are so timid that when they get operation, they ain't going on no operation because they don't want their names to be put all over the world that they were involved in this operation. They don't want it. So you have to look, these things are likely to have far-reaching consequences. So Mark Ramatar is not trained for this type of thing. He would not know. But I would expect the people who have training, even the little training that they have, would rein in this runaway train, just writing things like even writing a bad movie for a bad B or degraded movie for Hollywood. That's the only way. It must stop, and we will continue to talk about it. We know they're going to be defiant, and they're going to continue to expose until something, I don't want it to happen. But I'm saying that if they continue to do this, it's only a matter of time for someone to retaliate against policemen. We knew, and we lived through the era in the early 2000s when Jack Day was president, and policemen used to be killed for less than that. I always remember that policeman working traffic duties in Regent and King Street, just so, and bandit shooting and killing, all because he's a police. Nothing more. He did them nothing. He did not do them anything. And I'm warning, we don't want to get back to that. But if you get this type of incompetence where the names of the people are being put out there, people might not target policemen per se, but they can target those persons. It is a dangerous, dangerous development. And even though we have been talking about it time and time again, they continue to do it. I recall not so long ago, they had a raid in a school in Wolford Avenue. They reported, they named the names of the teachers who were involved. They named the name of the police ranks who were involved. And we talked about it. And they still continue to name the names of people who are involved. And when you get accidents and you get other incidents where certain prominent persons or relatives of certain prominent persons are involved, they don't name names. They don't name names. And people are likely to be more interested than in the names of those persons. They don't name names. Again, in closing, I say, what value would it bring to the release, the statement that is issued to the police, by putting in the name? It brings no value. It has no value to the thing. You could have said an officer, a senior officer, an other, but you could even say an inspector, a senior. But why name the people? You should not be naming them. Should not be naming them. But if, let me see, right, not Cleto, but Cleto was killed in Avenue of the Republic, I think, by the bank there, Baroda Bank. This is a policeman who was directing traffic at Regent and King Street, I think it was, right? And he was shot and killed. Cleto is another matter. I remember the Cleto matter like that. CC, any closing comment on this issue before we move on?
Yeah, I remember the shooting there, and it was, I think it was East Indian police in Regent Street there. But then somebody just tell me that the operation that at in the Rupunoni, you know, is that they decided to name the people, you know, they want to cook up the story. That they want to cook up the story.
Well, you hear all of these things, and how things going now, you don't get no investigation. They don't investigate these matters. They're going to tell you, bring the evidence. They don't investigate. Now, talking about bringing the evidence, let me go to this impending, somebody say, yeah, James, correct. James was the policeman's name. Thank you, Wayne. James was the policeman's name. You see, again, we say, when we talk about things in this program, we are telling you the truth. So I couldn't remember the name of the rank, but students here are telling us that the rank's name was James, and that jogged my memory. Yeah, James, young policeman walking traffic duty at the corner of Regent and King Street, and he was shot and killed just because he's a police, just because, and the animosity that was there towards the police. But let me Quincy James, thank you, Linton, Quincy James. Now let me go into this issue relating to the appointment of the commissioner and the 5 deputy commissioners. We can walk you through. We spoke about some of these issues on Monday, but I think it is important enough and it is topical enough for us to go through it again. And let me make the point that the president can appoint, anybody want to appoint as commissioner and deputy commissioner. The issue here, let me understand this clearly, the issue here, what we have been talking about, is not the appointment per se, right? But it's the lies that they're telling in an attempt to paint him as such a professional police officer, right? And therefore, the appointment is justified. That is the main issue. That is the main issue. And I saw it in today's paper, one by the name of, I'm going to go into it, somebody named Sherwin Crandon, we don't have the right name, or even some make-up name, write a letter with the virtues of Ikin and so on. I'm going to go into it. Because people need to know the truth. Need to know the truth. First of all, the Constitution, Article 211 of the Constitution, spells out the process to appoint the Commissioner of Police and Deputy Commissioners of Police, either substantively or to act in those positions. It says that the President shall make the appointment after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. He also has to consult with the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who would have first consulted with the other members of the Police Service Commission. I know the process well, because in 2008, when I was appointed chairman of the Police Service Commission, Mr. Conway was another member of that commission. The President Granger consulted with me for the appointment of James and those deputy commissioners. And I had before consulted with the other members, and we came to an agreement as to who are the persons should be recommended. I don't think what you have now with this service commission, they can just rubber stamp whatever is told. They can just call, if at all they are called for any consultation. And I want to remind them too, that when the consultation for the appointment of James and those 4 deputy commissioners, Alves, Williams, Maxine Graham, and Oppie, when that consultation was made with the opposition leader, Barra Jagdeo, it was big in the media because Jagdeo was accompanied by Irfan Ali and Gail Teixeira to the consultation. Let me set the record straight. I don't know what has happened in this occasion. Is the Gail Teixeira wrote to the leader of the opposition saying that the President wanted to appoint Ikin as commissioner. He also wanted to appoint Budram, Karimbash, Watts, Magbeen, and Blanham as deputy commissioners. They wrote. And the letter was accompanied by the CVs, right? CVs accompanied the letter to the opposition leader. The leader of the opposition wrote back, and I don't know if he dealt with the deputies, but I know based on the following correspondence that he said he was not in favor of Ikin's appointment, and he stated the reasons why that was done. Now, the first thing, then they wrote back, Gail Teixeira wrote back to say that, to try to justify the appointment and basically saying that what Aubrey Norton is saying as the leader of the opposition, the things that he's saying are not true. And then she painted this glowing picture of Ikin about how serious crime increased and how the public got confidence and all sorts of nonsenseness, she said. Right? But having said that, the first question that comes to mind is what is meaningful consultation? I would hope that the court will take that up. Somebody will take it to the court. I know it might be a mute thing in terms of the appointment already made, but we need to get even all the way to the CCJ to say if by just writing a letter, 2 letters in this case, if that can be considered as meaningful consultation. I think we need to know this is something that should be explored. It's just exchange of letter, meaningful consultation. I recall when Ikin was appointed to act in 2022, right? The Chief Justice said there was no consultation as required by the Constitution, but the Chief Justice ruled that at the time when the appointment was made, there was no leader of the opposition, so therefore there was no one for the President to consult. Well, I don't know. That was the ruling. And I'm disappointed that those things weren't challenged all the way to the CCJ so that we can get a proper decision on that type of ruling. Right? So then what happened? One of the things they're talking about, Gail Teixeira spoke about it, and this man in this letter today spoke about it. But before I go into that, let me ask Mr. Conway for his views on what I have said so far. He might want to expand on something. Again, I say, they want to make the appointment, they will make the appointment. But don't fool Guyanese people. You aren't fooling me. Don't fool the world and tell the world that you're making this appointment because of this outstanding performance by this gentleman. Don't tell us that. When Gail Teixeira can tell us that crime has increased significantly since Ikin took office, and that the confidence of the public in the force has risen where she come from? And I said on Monday, and I'm saying it again, the Surgeon General of the United States warned many years ago, I think it was in 6 or something, about the use of tobacco and the effects tobacco can have on the individual. Lung cancer, or what happened to pregnant women. What they miss is that perhaps prolonged tobacco use can cause you to be delusional as well, because it is clear from what was said that somebody loco, crazy. We live in Guyana. We know what's going on in Guyana. And to tell us that crime, serious crimes, are on the decrease and the confidence in the force by members of the public has risen is madness. It's madness. People beating up police so frequently and all that other thing. Look on the social media. And not only people we would call detractors, other people as well, right-thinking people, are saying what they believe about the police force under Ikin. And let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then I'm going to dissect this letter with this man, right? CC, what are your views on what have we said so far, brother?
Well, I'm going to talk a bit about the Constitution, and then I'm going to later on outline some legacies, important legacies that he will leave whenever he comes up. Now, the Constitution is very clear in terms of appointment, and we wish to repeat it, that the president can appoint anybody. He could pick up a man from a house in Robb Street and make a commissioner. But the process is that he has to have meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and chairman of the Police Service Commission, who would have consulted with other members of the commission, as you did when we appointed Graham, when Graham and others were appointed. But let me make it clear. This Constitution is the supreme law. Not the president. The president not supreme. This is not North Korea. The president is a creature of the Constitution, and he has to bow down to the Constitution. And the president can't do as he like and make some points or something. He can't do as he like. And the president, who is a creature of the Constitution, can be removed from office. Article 93 said that was removal of president on grounds of incapacity. The president may be removed from office if he or she becomes physically or mentally incapable of discharging the function of his or her duties. The procedure for removing him or her and for ensuring the continued discharge of the function of his or her office is prescribed in Article 179. And here, Article 94, the president may be removed from office if he or she commits any violation of this Constitution or any gross misconduct. The procedure for removing him or her is prescribed in Article 108. So we're saying that as they paint in the picture that the president is supreme. He's not supreme, and the president isn't always right. And sometimes he gets some improper advice from the supreme legal advisor of the government. We had our case whether we remember the Police Service Commission, where we suspended us. Paul Yu took our case to court, and Justice Gino Prasad said that the present action was unconstitutional, ultra-virus, null and void, and had no legal effect. So let me go back to this. This case is with the extension. There is nothing in the law, nothing in the Constitution talks about extension of a commissioner. Nothing in the Constitution. So I know what I'm about the place there. They're what I call constitutional prescribed matters. Chapter 27:12. And they talk about the age of vacating of office of the holders of certain offices. It said the Director of Audit and the Commissioner of Police shall vacate their respective offices on attaining the age of 55, provided that, and this is talking about provided that the President, acting on the recommendation of the Police Service Commission, may permit the Director of Audit, who has attained the age of 55 years, to continue in the office until he has attained such later age, not exceeding 60 years, as may be. And this is important, this is in bracket. Before the Director of Audit has attained the age of 55 years. I've agreed with the director. Now, this one dealing with the commissioner. B, the President, acting on recommendation of the Police Service Commission, after the Prime Minister has concurred in that recommendation, may permit a Commissioner of Police who has attained the age of 55 years to continue in office until he has attained such later age, not exceeding 60 years, as may. And this is important. Wait a minute. Before the Commissioner of Police has attained the age of 55 years, have been agreed with the Commissioner of Police. So this thing is critical. This part here where they're saying that after that, if the President, according to my understanding here, if the President wants to extend the Commissioner, he has to do so before he turns 55 years. And here's it. He can has passed 55 years, the age of retirement. He has passed 55. There's no doubt of it. Not even if he produces another board certificate, it might be a different matter. He has passed the age of 55 years. And if you pass the age of the 55, the commissioner cannot, the president cannot extend you. He got to extend you before you reach 55 years. So he's trying to, and he cannot conform you. So they're trying to conform him, but he can already pass 55 years, so you can't conform me and you can't extend him. So that is the important point they need to look at. And I see people playing glowing tributes about Hicken. When you finish reading the letter, Paul, I'm going to tell you some of the legacies that Hicken would have left.
All right, I want to make one clarification. The student tell me, I said that the sheriff said that crime has decreased. No, there is not. Crime has increased. She didn't say it increased, she said decreased. So let me correct that. She said that on the Hicken, crime has decreased. I know serious crimes. And on the last program on Monday, we showed you the matrix, and we show you when they talk about serious crimes in Guyana, what are the serious crimes they are talking about, the limited number of crimes. And let me show you again. These, when they talk about serious crimes in Guyana, these are what they're talking about. These 11 categories of crimes, they say, and even those 11 categories have not decreased. They have not decreased. And then when we talk about, and then we showed you again, we got to give the thing that, look, they have some crimes. For example, these crimes are not included in the figures of serious crime. So talk about fraud, forgeries, embezzlement, money laundering, and Ponzi scheme, manslaughter, possession and cultivation of trafficking in marijuana. So all the marijuana here, the seizing and trafficking in the seizing and destroying farm in the Bobbies River, those things are not crimes, serious crimes. Possession and trafficking in cocaine. So the big cocaine bust that you have in Massachusetts area, that is not going to be recorded as a serious crime according to them. Trafficking in persons, which is said to be so prevalent. Felonious wounding. Offenses under the Domestic Violence Act. Arson. You've had so many fires, and even the fire service has said some of these fires are arson. So, for example, the one at the Madja where children died, they're going to deal with the murder, but no arson. Simple larceny. You might thief your car, carjacking. No. Cattle rustling, which is prevalent in certain areas. No. Gold smuggling. The U.S. have to sanction people for gold smuggling. You got drug smuggling. No. That is not recorded as serious crime. Discharging up to recently, we see the charge of businessman for discharging a loaded firearm. No, that is not a serious crime. So we understand when we talk about, when they say serious crimes have abduction, not serious crime. So this man that they abducted, brick, and up to now they can't find him, right? That is not considered as a serious crime. So 2 persons have been charged for abduction. That is not going to be reflected as a serious crime. So let us come with this BS thing to tell people what's going on. We're going to continue to educate you students as to the facts of these matters. Now, let me say this. Mr. Conway eloquently said what is required. Let me read this letter. We read Gail Teixeira's letter, the letter to the we dissected paragraph by paragraph, and many people have complimented us on the manner in which we dissected that letter. The manner in which, but today, a man by the name of Sherwin Crandon, I don't know who he is, I don't know Sherwin Crandon, but the letter is in today's Kaito News, and it is said to have been written by one Sherwin Crandon. Let me get the name right. Yeah, Sherwin Crandon. And he says here, "Dear editor, I have read Mr. G.H.K. Lal's article on various media and perused them with great interest based on his often insightful opinions. I've enjoyed these missives because, for the most part, his analysis and conclusions have been objective. However, I do believe that the most recent opinion piece on Monday, the 7th of October, appearing on an online news outlet, warrants a critical response. Caption Commissioner Akin time for congratulations or condolences. The content of the article implies that when Mr. Akin is appointed to the Commissioner of Police, he will be scrutinized more than any of his predecessors. The question anyone should ask is why. First and foremost, it is a purpose for me to point out that innumerable shocking incidents occurred under his predecessors, many embarrassing and scandalous issues, but I have never seen any opinion expressed by Mr. G.H.K. Lal that any of them could go down in the history of the Guyana Police Force as lesser than the most disappointing top cop that this country ever had." End of quote. When Mr. Akin was spitefully overlooked by the previous administration, including officers junior to him being promoted ahead of him, there was no writing on his behalf. When persons placed above him were abject failures, why weren't there any condolences then for law-abiding citizens of this republic? Mr. Lal is not the only writer who has zeroed in on the current top cop. Yes, all eyes seem to be trained in his direction. The relentless examining is disquieting. The relentless examination is disquieting. It is a crude, transparent attempt at death by 1,000 cuts. Editor, during Mr. Akin's tenure, he has been operating in an environment where evolution is taking place in society generally, where youths are perpetrating crimes on the law-abiding and even against each other, where technology and social media are quite often misused and abused. Considering the fact that Mr. Akin has been acting as commissioner, one must admit that he has competently navigated through all these circumstances. He has done a relatively good job. His leadership has been vibrant. Commissioners must be judged by the public, but the public also have a responsibility to lawfully and respectfully conduct themselves, understanding that policemen and women who protect and serve us are all Guyanese like us, and the same communities that they are trying to fix are the same communities these policemen and women derive from. And so the least the public can do is work with the police force so its frequently publicized goals can be met. Mr. Akin has always been a community-oriented and youth-focused in is pursuit. Objectivity allows for clear thought in writing. Mr. Lal and others are reminded that the message Mr. Akin has been conveying to his officers and other subordinates have never been unorthodox. He has, to the best of my knowledge, promoted the path of best practices for the organization. He has repeatedly pledged to make the Guyana Police Force the best in the Caribbean and has demonstrated this ambitious desire in his presentations when representing the force in engagements overseas. In my humble opinion, he sells Guyana in a way it ought to be sold. In fact, we have read that most of the Caribbean is trying to adopt the principles and policies and methodologies used in the Guyana Police Force in an effort to reduce crime, in an effort to reduce their crime rates. Having said all this, I am particularly disgusted that the business people in Guyana are not highlighting the fact that they are operating in a much improved circumstances in terms of crime threats. The silence is deafening. The private sector in particular thrives in a country with low crime numbers that we have. Normalcy has prevailed for some time. When foreign investors come here, there is no longer the inherent fear of violent crimes being committed against them. Yet, not a peep from those who are benefiting. The private sector is enjoying all the sweet, but curiously steering clear of being identified as being supportive of Mr. Akin and the advancement that have been made in relation to the overall safety during his tenure so far. It is quite frankly a betrayal of trust. If there is honesty in their midst and within their hearts and minds of all, within the heart and mind of all law-abiding citizens who would have interacted personally with Mr. Akin, I am certain that their contributions in his favor will be in favor of him via whatever media is available to them, could and would provide better perspective for these detractors and for his detractors to pontificate. Another one from under the rock. I don't know where I live. This man is saying that all the police forces in the Caribbean are trying to emulate what is going on in Guyana. Well, let me address one part of it before I begin, Mr. Conway. Because Gail Teixeira spoke about the same thing, about this seniority thing. Yeah? Let me find what Gail Teixeira right. About the seniority of Akin. She said that that he was one moment. Oh yeah, here it is. The record reflect that she said the records reflect that on the 3rd of September 2018, Mr. Akin was superseded by 5 officers of the Guyana Police Force, all of whom were junior to him, but were promoted ahead of him to be with posts of commissioner and deputy commissioner. That is what she said. And here what this man is now is saying, right? That Akin was let me read it here. That Akin was overlooked. Here he said, when Mr. Akin was spitefully overlooked by the previous administration including junior officers junior to him being promoted ahead of him. There was no writing on his behalf, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me address that before I bring in Mr. Conway. Let me address that. Akin was promoted to assistant commissioner on the 1st of January 2015. I did all the research. 3rd of January 2015. When he was promoted, there were 4 officers who were senior to him. They were all on the rank of senior superintendent, but they were senior by date of appointment. Going further back, they were senior to him when they were superintendents. So they were senior to him as superintendents. When they became senior superintendent, they maintained that seniority over him. And what happened? When the Police Service Commission met and decided that the promotion will be made on the 1st of January, there was an unusual delay in the announcement of the promotion. And what transpired? The people them at the commission, it is alleged, I should say, that the people, two persons from the commission, one at the commission and one administrative man in the commission, went to a meeting or went to meetings in Rob Street and Brickdam. That is with a list that was approved by the commission. And then when they came out from there, the thing changed. Ikin, who was not on that list, was included in the list. And I can call names because the records are there. The people who were senior to him in 2015 when he superseded them without any justification, they were more qualified than him, right? They had less baggage than him. And the PPP, just before they demitted the office, promoted him to assistant commissioner because it is alleged that he used to go to a certain place in Church Street and meet with a certain man and divulge all certain information with him. And he was promised that he was going to be made commissioner of police. That is the allegation. The people who were senior to him, Senior Superintendent Courtney Ramsey, experienced detective and divisional commander, was senior to Ikin in 2015 prior to his promotion. Senior Superintendent Nigel Appy was senior to Ikin. Senior Superintendent Dale Alves was senior to Ikin. Senior Superintendent Lyndon Alves was senior to, all of those persons were senior to him, and then they make a jump and turn assistant commissioner ahead of them. Courtney Ramsey was so aggrieved that he moved to the High Court. He went to the High Court and challenged the whole thing that he was superseded without any justification. Ramsey challenged it. I know what's the outcome of that challenge. When the matter came up in court, Nanlal, the Attorney General chamber, chucked in. They could not have offered a defense. They came to a compromise and decided, well, all right, well, they agree based on the ruling that Ramsey was unjustly superseded, and they'd come to some agreement for him to get all his benefits as if he had been promoted to assistant commissioner at that time. So y'all don't come here and talk about stupidness about people being superseded and all that. But yes, on the 30th, another 3rd of September, or 3rd of what was Gates saying, it occurred on the 30th of August, I think it was, on the 30th, when those promotions were made, right? September, 30th of September, when those promotions were made. The people who were promoted was Leslie James, who was in the rank of senior superintendent, and all them senior to him. James was promoted to commissioner. Nigel Appy, who had been senior to him before, promoted to deputy commissioner. Maxine Graham, deputy commissioner. Paul Williams, deputy commissioner. And Lyndon Alves. They were all at some stage senior. I go so far to tell you, he can join the work in 1988. Those men were in the force before him. And it's through manipulation, through political manipulation, they made Ikin assistant commissioner at head of those qualified persons. And as we said on the last occasion, when the promotions were to be made to deputy commissioner, the ranks were made to submit their resume, and they were interviewed by the commission. And based on the scoring and so on, Ikin came out as the least qualified of those persons. All of those persons who I called a while ago has been promoted were interviewed along with others. And he scored the lowest. So yeah, come here with that other thing but superseding. Don't talk about when he was promoted to assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner, people superseded him. Go beyond that. Go beyond that and see how he became senior to those persons. It wasn't through merit. It wasn't a meritorious thing. He had nothing but his board certificate. Two, we understand, is alleged that not one board certificate, two board certificates. So I don't know what they're coming with, this guilty sharer. They're hammering this seniority thing, and now this Sherwin Crandon. And here was Sherwin Crandon said. Sherwin Crandon said that they considering the fact that Mr. Ikin has been acting as commissioner, one must admit that he has competently navigated through all these circumstances. He has done a relatively good job. His leadership has been vibrant. And he said commissioner must be judged. I agree. This is one statement he made. I agree. The commissioners must be judged by the public. And wonder how the public will judge Ikin. You should go to Lyndon and find out how he's judged by at least that public. Then he says here, objectively allows for clear thought in writing. Mr. Lal and others are reminded that the message Mr. Ikin has been conveying for his officers and other subordinates have never been unorthodox. Oh, this man, but then he heard the caveat, he come here and said, now, he has To the best of my knowledge. Well, your knowledge is very limited, Mr. Crandon. You say he asked to my knowledge, promoted the parts. I'm telling you now that your knowledge is very limited. I know Lekin since he joined the work at the transport workshop as an apprentice and a little mechanic back there. And I know the reason why. And then he tickled me. I'm going to tell them why he was moved from the transport to the TSU. Let it tickle me. Let me whine a little bit more. So, you know, although you are saying or revealing a lot of things that know me, I'm talking, you know. I'm not talking. Let them tell you why he was removed from the transport workshop to the TSU when Duncan Clark, the late great Duncan Clark, was there. And then the man goes on to say the man has promoted the part of best practices for the organization. He has repeatedly pledged to make Guyana Police Force the best in the Caribbean and has demonstrated his ambitious desire in his presentations when representing the force abroad. In my humble opinion, he sells Guyana in a way it ought to be sold. Well, if there's a way Guyana is to be sold, buddy, I am not be a Guyanese. I don't want to be a Guyanese. I don't want to be associated with the country. If he's selling Guyana in the ways to be sold. In fact, we have read that this is the most laughable part. In fact, we have read that most of the Caribbean is trying to adopt the principles, policies, and methodologies used in the Guyana Police Force in an effort to reduce crime rates. Ooh la la, nonsenseness. The Caribbean. Let me tell you this. If you check the stats, I was shocked when I checked and I discovered in the English-speaking Caribbean, the highest crime rate per capita is Trinidad and Tobago. In terms of the world, when last I checked, they were like number 6 in the world, crime rate per capita. The next highest, Guyana, at number 7. And I was shocked to discover that even Jamaica, they're below us, because I remember we dealing per capita. I was shocked to discover that Jamaica's crime rate is lower than Guyana. I don't think they were factored in. I didn't recall seeing what was Haiti's thing. So I don't know where these people are coming from. I don't know where they're getting this thing from. I don't know. And then they want to call out the private sector. And you know, I suspect that now that you've called out the private sector, somebody got called to say this, oh yeah, we living in a very safe society. And if they say so, they're still putting on us at a lock, employ a whole set of guard with AK-47 and AR-15. Yeah, but the society is a quiet society. And I said before that if you want to know about crime in a society, drive around in your main areas. I have had the privilege of working all over the Caribbean, and I have traveled far afield. I have never seen in any one of the places I visit so many security armed with shotgun, with AR-15, and all the places you go. It is very worrying. I have said that. Very worrying. And that tells a picture. That tells you something. All them people stand up with big guns, as the people would say. Big guns, guarding Chinese store and all other stores. Because people feel unsafe. And for Gail Teixeira and Sherwin Campbell for come and paint this different picture, I don't know where they live in. But I am telling you that we will come here and we are going to bring the facts to you. A badly long batin. Let me bring in Mr. Conway and then we're going to move on. CC, you heard what we read there just now, man. Now, take your piece, man.
All right. I'm going to take my piece. But before I take my piece, you know, for the sake of emphasis, I want to repeat some of the things I mentioned in my opening. One, that there is nothing in the Constitution about extending the services of a commissioner of police beyond 55. Nothing in the Constitution again. But the constitutional, open bracket, prescribed matters, close bracket, chapter 2712, dated the 20th of September 1967, talk about the age of vacating of office by holders of certain office, and they talk about the director of audit and the commissioner of police. And this is where it gives the president the power to extend the services of the commissioner of police beyond 55. But it can't pass 60. But this must be done before the person has passed the age of retirement. Now Hicken has passed the age of retirement. He passed 55. So if he passed 55, they can't further extend him, neither they can't conform him. That's how I interpret this to be. Now, going back to that letter there, Paul. And the thing is that when a commissioner comes off or about to come off, we say, what legacy is left? We had Light Barker, to name a few. We had Baron Ragobert, Larry Lewis, my favorite commissioner, Winston Felix. Those persons left some serious legacies. But here, contrary to what the writer wrote, here are some legacies that Hicken will leave. Legacy of incompetence. Legacy of allegations of financial irregularities in the Ghana Police Force. Hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars at the Kuala store. Legacy that is number 2 man. Allegations that is number 2 man involved in serious financial irregularities and money laundering. Legacies of gun running. You pay $1.5 million and get a weapon. Or you get Shift Chanjapal Drive, Young Street, a doctor in Lamar Street, a house in Robb Street, and a building northwest of Breakdown Police Station. Later, we get legacy of breaking the police welfare fund, a legacy of pool recruitment, an exodus of policemen from the force. He can himself say he getting problem recruiting and retaining. Legacy of stolen firearms, scores of them, lodged with police and disappear. Legacy of low morale, poor training. Legacy of a so-called strategic plan 2022-26 that isn't smart, that isn't specific, that isn't measurable, that isn't achievable, that isn't realistic, that isn't timely. Legacy that there's no succession plan. Legacy that there's no career development. Legacy of widespread corruption. Legacy of very little public confidence in the police force. Legacy of disunity, serious disunity among the senior officers in the police force. We saw those in letter writings and all kind of thing there. And here it is. Good legacy, where legacy of storing the pot for the president. Legacy of bowling ball for the president's score runs. And we're talking bowling half volley, long hop, and full toss below the waist. Legacy of duck curry competition. Legacy of flavor the dance. Legacy of cook-up competition. Legacy of steaming fried fish. And then 2 things will haunt him. 2 major incidents will haunt him. The killing of the 3 men at the bridge, Linden Wismer Bridge, and the Lindo Creek issue. But he looking for politicians, and I always remember Forbes Bonham say, he said politics doesn't have rules. You play it as you see it. Today it's right, tomorrow it may be wrong. And he said, he who is politically appointed will be politically disappointed. And I always remember Gajraj at the inquiry. When they talk to him, they question him about all the illegal instructions he gave to Commissioner Floyd McDonald, upgrading a killer gun and doing all sort of things. And Gadrat said, Commissioner McDonald should have been guided by the Constitution and his conscience. So I like he can try and hold on to them politicians. As I saying, or repeat the board and say, politics and get rules. And he who is politically appointed will be politically disappointed.
He who is politically appointed can be politically disappointed. And old people say moon around till they catch him. And they say that man does appoint, but God does disappoint. Hold on. I wanted to deal with this thing too from a historical point of view in terms of extension. Because you're talking as other thing. I came into the force, Guyana Police Force, in 1973 as a special constable at Sparendam. And I recall then the commissioner was Carl Bobo Austin. And he died in office in 1973, I think it was. He died in office. Then Henry Fraser took over. And when Henry Fraser reached the mandatory age of retirement, 55, he moved on. Even though he was performing it excellently. He was succeeded by Lloyd Barker. Same thing, Lloyd Barker, excellent performance. But when he reached 55, he moved on. Lloyd Barker was succeeded by Balaram Raghabir, right? And in my time in the force, as far as I know, Balaram Raghabir was the first man to be extended as Commissioner of Police. Balaram Raghabir was appointed Commissioner of Police. And when he was approaching retirement, Desmond Oit, who was the president, came to a police officers conference. I was a young officer then. So that got to be around, I became an officer in 85, right? So it got to be around 86 sometime then. He came to the officers conference and said, one of the things that we have to study as a group is whether it would not be useful for the Commissioner of Police, having attained the age of 55, to be extended. And he made an argument. We had groups who had to do study on it, and we presented on it. I think I was in a group. I remember well, Rick Ford Chivertan was the presenter in that group. And all the groups that made the presentation shut down that suggestion. And we argued very logically to say, we even go into the history how it became 55, and people who have left have done well. We identify people like Mr. Argyle, who had gone to the bank and made a significant contribution, and we identified other people, say you should go at 55. The next year, when Mr. Oit came back, he said that the decision was made, that the commission should be extended. And they proceeded to extend Mr. Raghabi. Remember, Mr. Raghabi was already Commissioner of Police. I don't think he ever even acted in that position. He was already, so when he attained the age of 55, he was already in the seat as Commissioner. And therefore, according to what Mr. Conway read, he could have been extended. Mr. Raghabi was extended, and then he got caught up in a scandal. And Mr. Ait then had to have him removed. And they brought in Mr. Larry Lewis, who acted for a period. And then he took over as Commissioner of Police. Right? When Larry Lewis was approaching the age of 55, I think it was Janet Jagan and Cherry Jagan, they extended Larry Lewis. And that what this open extension, remember again, he was already Commissioner of Police, and they extended it, I think, for the first time for 3 years, and then on the second occasion for 2 years, either 3/4 or 2 or 2/4 or 3, but he was extended. When he was approaching 60, there was a move to extend him beyond 60. And Debbie Barker, member of Parliament, God rest the dead, right, found that same thing that Mr. Conway read and told them she was contemplating, I think she went to court to say that there is no law that allows for a Commissioner of Police to be extended beyond the age of 60. And therefore, Larry Lewis had to go. I remember very well on the farewell parade in 2001, when he inspected the parade, he was in an open back Land Rover and with dark shades, because he didn't want to see the emotions that were there. Larry was my friend, Larry Lewis was my friend. The senior man at the time was McDonald, after Larry Lewis was McDonald. McDonald was then a senior man, after Lewis McDonald, appointed Commissioner of police. He was extended. He became, as Conway would say, the most deadly commissioners. He was the man at the helm of the force when all of those policemen were killed. He was the man at the helm. They extended him, any and good. After McDonald, Winston Felix became commissioner of police. And then they also forget to the Felix. Felix left at 55. Then after Felix, Green took over. The Americans had signaled their dislike for Green taking over. They revoked his visa and all sort of thing. They alleged that he benefited from the drug trade and all of that. But nevertheless, Jagdeo went in and appointed him. And then what happened? When he reached 55, they decided they're going to extend him. Because who was the next person in line? Paul Slow. Right? The next senior man was Paul Slow. So they extended Green. And I decided that when night time came to retire in 2010, I left. I can tell you this, that a very man, one of them who around the place that now close to the admin and thing, they called me because I wanted to leave before and begged me not to leave the force. Begged me because they wanted, well, they said they would have appointed me. Let me tell you further that I told you all the October 5th anniversary where I performed outstandingly in dealing with public order situation and became the darling of the PPP. They wanted me to become commissioner. I was interviewed by the people from the UK for the job. Me and another senior police officer attended an interview in Manhattan, New York, because I was in New York on vacation and they wanted me to go home. Gadraj wanted me to go home for the interview and I refused. So me I'm breaking me vacation, forgot for no hold me, lose me arrangement. And they sent the men to New York, in Manhattan, at the British High Commission. And we went there and I was interviewed. And I just said I was in front runner when Gadraj called me and back God. And I tell Gadraj, you got to be joking. And then Jack Dio called me for apologize. So Gadraj, I'll give you all the background to this thing. So Green run into trouble, allegation against him, he had to leave. The next senior man after Green, the senior man there was Leroy Bromell, who took over from Green as commissioner. When we reached 55, he was allowed to continue after 55 because again he was commissioner of police. He wasn't acting, he was allowed to continue. And then a certain man prepared a dossier on him and took it to a certain place and convinced them that that Bromell should go. And then when Bromell was called, because Bromell felt that he would have been extended, when he was called and he felt that he was going there to be told that he was extended, he went to office of the president and was told that he got to hand over, he must go home. And Adam Harris, who used to write them by say in Kaicho News, says he's the first man to cry twice for the work. Adam said when he was appointed, he became so emotional that he shed tears. And when he went and he was told that he got to go, he shed tears again. That's what Adam Harris said, man. Them by Cesar. Right? So Bromell moved on and Silal Prasad was appointed Commissioner of Police. And I'm going to tell you more about that because the record show that there was no consultation. So it's not only now they violated the Constitution. The record showed that when Donald Ramatar appointed Silal Prasad, there was no consultation with the leader of the opposition at the time, who was Granger. I think it was Granger. No consultation. So Silal, and then they jump and say that Silal was dismissed. Silal served until he was ready to come off. And when he came off, Ramnarai was holding off for him. And when the promotion was made, James was promoted to commissioner. And Ramnarai resigned and moved on. Right? After James, they dashed the shaft in Happy. Let me tell you how I put it in perspective. Because when Happy took over from James, it was 2 or 3 days before the government changed. James proceeded and leave, I think it was on the 31st of July 2020. Government changed on the 2nd of August 2020. So in that, Happy came on Friday, the 31st of July, I think it was Friday. Happy came on. Government changed. Happy was never made to act or even promoted to Commissioner of Police. Never. He carried out the functions for all the years. From 2020 when he took over until they appointed Ikin. He went and leave, he went to leave in 2022, and Ikin was immediately appointed as acting commissioner, unconstitutionally, I believe. So let me go through the records, man. Let me tell you the thing. There has never been a person who has not been holding the office substantively, who was asked to stay on. And this one, according to President Irfan is an indefinite staying on. And it was drawn to my attention that last night on the program Issues in the News on NCN, hosted by Anil Nandlal, SC, MP, Attorney General, he said that the president scrupulously observed the Constitution and blah, 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 blah. In the proposed, he didn't say he appointed yet, that basically said they had consultation. There are strangers to this upholding the Constitution. I can say that because I have the thing. I took them to court when on the 16th of June 2021, the president unlawfully suspended the Police Service Commission, of which I was the chairman. And the judge ruled that it was unlawful, unconstitutional, null and void, and of no legal effect. And what I am disappointed about, that the officers, they're talking about constitution and rule of law. There are 42 police officers, some of them are retired, who did not, first of all the promotions on the 29th of June, 2021, Anil Nandlal went on NCN, Issues in the News, and said they were not recognizing the promotion that were made by the Police Service Commission the previous day, on the 28th of June 2021. And on today like today, people are suffering because of that. They have not recognized those promotions. Many of them. And even when they made the promotion in 2022, many of them who were promoted were not promoted to the ranks that they were previously promoted to. And I tell you, to talk about seniority with this set of deputies and so on, I see people writing, Leroy Smith and them writing, and I see calling out the deputy, bringing out the record, who been at Letem when playing, drug playing, and who involved in, who were command in Bobbies with drug, and who the thief gasoline, all them things, they're writing and so on. But I would remind them, because we were talking about the seniority, let me tell you all right now, the most senior assistant commissioner in the police force is Royston Andrews Jr. Right? When they came after me, he was unfortunately charged along with us, me and Mr. Conway and others in 2021 for conspiracy to commit fraud. The matters, I think he got to misconduct in public office. Those matters were dismissed since the 27th of December last year. And until now, that office is punishing and reinstating him. Matter dismissed. The magistrate said, not an iota of evidence, matter dismissed. After Andrews Jr., McBean is the next man. After McBean, it should have been Bodram. After Bodram is Watts. And I can't remember how the others play out. That is supposed to be the seniority. And seniority is not something that you can lose just like that. Where they're manipulating the thing here, well, we see, I mean, the fact that they listed in that order in the release does not necessarily mean that when the promotion is made and the dates are assigned, that is going to be the order. And the next thing I want to tell them, that when promotions are made and dates are given for seniority, you got to go, I think the first person who would have retired would have been Alves, I think, and then you had Maxine Graham as deputy commissioners, Paul Williams. You have to look at the dates when those people left to make sure that the dates are there. I know the current secretary don't believe in retroactivity because he said police don't need money. Perhaps some of them need money who they're running. But it has to do with people's seniority. It has to do at the end of the day with the benefits and all of that. Let me bring in Mr. Conway and then we're going to move on again because we got more to talk about this. CC?
Yeah, let me just talk a bit of the seniority, and go back to the last promotion where they had, where Watts was the number one, I think followed by the three Bs, Bodram, Blanham, Brutus. And when they send the list to the Police Service Commission, somebody rearrange the batting order. Perhaps like T20. And then again too, the list went, they didn't add, so we can alter or correct anything. Didn't do anything. They come back the same way. Manipulated the list. So Watts, who was number 1, I think became number 4. And Brutus, who was number 4, became number 1. Remember the Chief Justice talk about self-serving? And now and again now, I see they get a list. But not necessarily, maybe, as you mentioned, not necessarily that's how the promotion be, if there's any promotion. And the list where Watts again gone down the line. That, you know, they're manipulating the list, this seniority list. That's what they're doing without any kind of justification. And we get a rubber stamp service commission that will just say, we just rubber stamp it, just so they come and alter or correct it. And as you mentioned, Andrews Jr. is the number 1. But he never mentioned, I will agree he interdicted. But McBean is the number 1. And they get he at the bottom, according to all this polling, they get McBean at the bottom there. Here again, rearranging the bottom. McBean at the bottom. McBean is the most qualified, the most experienced. McBean since 2000, I think it's 6 or thereabouts. McBean has a master's degree in global security and policing. Let me repeat, global security and policing. Not in some management or some other thing. Global security and policing. He has a master's degree. And nothing adverse is known or recorded about him over the years. But there's it. He at the bottom of the list. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get promotion come up and McBean there at the bottom of the list when he should be number 1. So that's what they're doing. Pure manipulation, perhaps self-serving.
Manipulation for political reasons. Let me say this. Yes, McBean has this degree, global policing degree. And not from no online university, you know. The man won the Chevening Scholarship. For those people who know, this is a scholarship that is awarded by the British government. He won that. It was a competitive process. He won that and he went to study in the UK. The man studied in the UK to get his qualification. A lot of them coming now, they get something online. Some of them get it from iFlot. Some of them get it from all over the place. But this is a qualified person. Qualified person. And let me talk about, somebody mentioned, you know, they like talk about politics. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about politics. They're talking about, some people had asked about injunction. Whether in light is going on, whether there was no proper consultation as required by the Constitution, whether they should go and file an injunction. Well, I have said that it doesn't make no sense because once you file the injunction, what will happen is that they will run ahead and they will make the appointment before the matter comes up before the judge. And this is not just speculation. Let me tell you what happened back in 2022. After the president suspended, unlawfully and unconstitutionally suspended the Service Commission, of which I was the chairman on the 16th of June 2021, the matter went before the court and Nandela was dragging it out. All sort of interlocutory filings and things dragging out. Then the new commission was named. And I, having looked at it, I said to my lawyers, look, we should go to court and get an injunction to prevent this new commission from making any promotion until such time that the suspension of the Police Service Commission I chair was ordered and determined. And the promotions that we made on the 28th of June was deemed either to be invalid or valid as the case would be. I said that. That was in June of 2022. The lawyers agreed with me that we were going to file this injunction. The mistake I think that was made is that it was filed on a Friday. And you know when you file, in case you don't know, when the matter is filed in court, you have the people who are respondents. And the respondents in this matter would have been the commissioner, I think the attorney general. So you serve the document on them. And that is how I explained it before. Once the thing was served, because that was the Friday, you don't get court Saturday, you don't get court Sunday, and then the Monday was the first Monday in July, which was a public holiday in respect of CARICOM Day. And what they did, so on the 1st of July, they had the police of anniversary service, and the chairman of the Police Service Commission was brackled by the media and asked about promotions. And he said on the first day of July 2022, the records are there, that no, they aren't talking about promotion yet because you got to look at file and blah, blah, blah. You got to look at that. And the next day, the 2nd of June, the 2nd of July, the promotion comes out. And what transpired? After the document, after the application that I made, was served on them on the Friday, they decided to make sure that those promotions were made before the court could have heard those matters, before it could come up on the Tuesday. Before you can think. So they hustle over the weekend. That is why you find that the list that was sent to the commission was rubber stamped, and people who had left the job were promoted. One person was promoted to 2 different ranks in the same order because of this rush. Because of the rush. So the injunction, if you go now to file the injunction, from the time it is filed and served, before it can come up before the judge, they can hustle, swearing. You remember how Janet Jagan was sworn in? Secret swearing in. And by the time the marshal got to solve the thing, when she should throw it behind the back and do nothing, said that was good. All right, you got to jog your memory with these things. You know? You got to jog your memory. And what's going to happen? They are going to make the appointments. They are going to make the appointments. And if you want to challenge, you could challenge, but the appointments have already been made. And let me say this again before I begin, Mr. Conway, because even according to them, they got criteria for persons to be promoted to the rank, from the rank of deputy superintendent all the way to commissioner. The police set out a document outlining the qualification that you need to have. And I recall very well for deputy commissioners, they say you need to have a master's degree and a whole set of experience and all that. Some of them who are going to be promoted, because I'm convinced that they're going to be promoted, have not met the criteria. They have not. They ain't got no master's degree. They are masters. They are masters in their own right, but they ain't got no master's degree. So you got to understand what is happening here. And let me say the disappointing part of this. This is not being personal. And we're going to live to see it, right? Because of these manipulations and the promotions, the situation we're in now in the country, notwithstanding what Gail Teixeira and this man Crandon saying, it's likely to get worse because it's going to be demoralizing. Can you recall months ago, there was a leaked promotion document all over the place? A document promoting people to assistant commissioner on all ranks and all that leaked with a covering memo from from ICIN, the extended squatter, saying that these persons met, and then it was discovered that one of the persons who he said met was out of the country at the time, and this was not a virtual meeting. He said I met in person. And you don't hear nothing more about that. So now they're going to rush. But that is not going to solve the problem that the police force has found itself in, promoting incompetent people, or even if you were to promote competent people at this stage, of which they are just a few, it's not going to solve the problem. This thing is systemic. It is systemic. And they're talking about things. You get a police force with a man in charge, commissioner of police, acting. They get the biggest drug bust in this country. Biggest. 4,400 and something kilograms of drug. The DEA, they said, was part of the operation, Custom Anti-Narcotics Unit, and the Ghana Defense Force Special Forces. Not a single police. And the guilty shirt about confidence in the thing. Even Robson Ben, the Minister of Affairs, did not have the confidence to carry police to witness this operation. So they flew in media people from Ogle, I suspect, to witness the uncovering of this massive haul of drugs and the destruction of the drugs. Not a single police, he didn't even carry a cane or nobody else. And you tell me there's confidence? That is the confidence they're showing in the commissioner of police. That is the confidence. And the question has to be asked, why was the, even if you want to say you didn't include the police, why did you not include the commissioner of police in such an operation? such a massive operation? Has to be a lack of trust. Has to be a lack of trust. And I suspect that they would have been told not to tell you. Because based on this operation, the massive nature of the operation, this had to have had overseas assistance. And they would have said, hey, don't tell the police. And you saw what happened? Police headline, police commander fingered in the massive drug haul. And then the man was removed. And immediately he was removed from the division. Removed from the division. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. We have more to say. See?
Yeah. And the Peter principle in play, promoting incompetence. And as you say, whether people like it or not, they're gonna make the promotions. I hope that people will be bold enough, like you, tear them to court. And even the guy go all the way to the CCJ, let's go there. Because the overall is the country is going to suffer. Because you're promoting a lot of incompetent people, you're promoting a lot of politicians. So how if the force can't run good? And there's the old story, the force cannot run good because who are you promoting? And for the matter, I said at the last program that they got to get bloodletting, that they got to get hemorrhage. You got to get hemorrhage at the top. Serious bleeding got to take part from the top there. But no, what they're doing is that they're going to rush to with the promotion with breakneck speed and promote their own people, and then they say, take it from there. If you want to carry it to court, so be it. But it's a sad state of affairs in the Guyana police force, and the country will be affected tremendously.
Yeah, we're going to be affected. It's we as citizens going to be affected. Not for them in the gated communities and the security guard and the bodyguard. They're going to feel that they're going to be affect them, but all of we going to be affected in some way or the other, negatively affected in some way or the other. Now let me pause and tell y'all, I give me enough thumbs up, I've been rolling on, but I get a little suspension going to take place, We are going to suspend some of you students for not doing what you're supposed to do. You got to give me thumbs up. You're not sharing enough. We want some more shares. I can see that you have not shared enough. Share some more. Share. I'm pausing. I'm going on a strike until y'all give me thumbs up, until y'all share some more so that we can attract more people to the program. I mean, we get record numbers, what I want to see. More, man. You got to share this information. Show that you find the information very valuable. I'm sure you do, right? I'm sure that you have remained there all this time because you're getting good information. You're getting the background, you're getting the context of these things. When they talk about seniority or when they talk about all this crap, they're coming to hoodwink you. We will come and we will bring you the information. We will tell you. And I dare any one of them to challenge anything that we have said, either today or before, on this subject or any other subject. I challenge them. I want to talk about, let's share some more, man. I see our sharing. And yes, the thumbs up are going up. Thank you very much. I thank you. Thank you very much. Right? And let me say this. Because tomorrow at that circus, you're going to hear us other thing about the promotion. You're going to hear, let's stop talking about who is criminal. And I remember the one who had said that is a disgraced police officer who is bitter. He said, I'm bitter. And he would never give a taste me to know if I'm bitter. I have to go and look for them little by. Like you're geriatric, you come and say you're bitter. You want to give people the impression that you were tasted. I was tasted by you. No, I ain't into that. Right? So you get them saying that sort of thing. The same one, his name escapes me now, had said that work is of no significance in Ireland. Imagine people that are not significant and they can't stop talking about you. You're not significant. But when you come here, you say he's a criminal. He lives in a basement and all sort of thing, they're going to tell you. Yes, still, they will want to tell you that you're not important. You make sense from nonsense. And let me tell you further, I continue to say that with this investigation that's going on now, the claim that an investigation going on with Brutus and financial impropriety, Let me say this. I can't understand how you're doing a proper investigation, and my information is that up to now, they can't say, well, not my information necessarily, but they cannot say, the Police Corporate Communication Unit or anyone else cannot say if this allegation was put to Brutus. Now, how do you investigate a man, an investigator of this nature? You don't put the allegation to him. No allegation put to this man as to what you're investigating. I want to know if there's not a constitutional violation of the man's right. You investigating, you freeze the bank account, you cause him to go up and leave. I guess the leave done by now, and he's not resuming, and you're not telling him what this allegation is officially. I mean, it's there in the media, and they say financial impropriety, money laundering, but I don't think he has been told officially, which in my view is a violation of his constitutional rights. About 2 months plus this thing going on. About 2 months plus the thing going on. And I say again, when this thing broke about this deposit of this money, the fact that, let me play this tape, man. Let me play this tape again. I got to remind you all. Let me remind you all, you know. I'm going to play them all the time. Look at him, man. Look at him.
Guyana's acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting Calvin Brutus is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million-dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There's no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who served as the force admin officer, was transferred to Special Branch, while Deputy Commissioner Provincial Dat Budram is now in charge of administration, while the head of the Special Branch, Assistant Commissioner Errol Watts, is now in charge of operations. In a statement from the police, it said that the move is part of the modernization plan for the Guyana Police Force.
Right, there's the type of BS you get. And I'm saying that, I said that before, I'm saying it again. That statement alone by Ikin should have caused an investigation, and when Brutus was sent on leave, he should have gone on leave at the same time. Because it is clear that he was lying. And if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, then you ought to investigate. But you know, we in this topsy-turvy banana republic, they just tell you got to bring the evidence. So when an allegation is made, you must bring the evidence. They are not going to investigate to find the evidence. I'm saying again, the fact that Ikin denied that Brutus lodged or attempted to lodge $16.5 million, even Brutus isn't disputing that. Because he said the money come from gifts before, during, and after his wedding. He ain't disputing, but Ikin disputing that the money was lodged. And that an investigation was going on. When they self had to come back earlier, when Dennis Shabral, the same man who interviewed, or one of them who asked a kid question, posted the very night the evidence, and then they had to admit that an investigation has been launched. And even the government said, yes, investigation, and they're claiming that Soku is competent to conduct the investigation. And that man said, no investigation, no money lodged, and he is going to be the substantive commissioner of police shortly. And when we talk, we say, you get something personal, you get acts to grind, Slow is a disgraced officer who bitter, and all sort of things they are going to see. But they ain't going to stop me from talking. And then who can forget this one? Let me say, all right, the biggest drug bust. Look what's going on here again.
Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken told reporters that he's unaware that his regional commander of Region 1 and some police officers are on the probe by Kanu following the 4.4 tons of cocaine found at Matthews Ridge in Region 1 over the weekend. This as images of the commander are making the rounds on social media over his alleged involvement in the $40 billion cocaine seizure. Hicken spoke with members of the press today at the Arthur Chung Conference Center.
I saw something published in the papers. We don't do it like that. If there's an involvement, there will be an investigation, and Suku's leading in this regard. Kanu's leading in this regard. So James Singh is right there. You can go talk to him.
Will you be concerned about that? Did you receive any complaints?
No.
Any in your office in Region 1?
No, I've not received any complaint, and so what I'll do now that you're telling me this, because I saw something in social media this morning, what I'm going to do, I'm going to engage James Singh, he's right over there, and so I'll ask him to brief you so you can get a better understanding of who involved and who not involved.
That's why we heard.
That's why I'm saying I don't know, and if that's the case, there will be an investigation. I just said that to you. When I read it, first of all, I congratulated James Singh. Initially, we spoke when the operation was going on, but when I read the papers this morning, I said I'm going to engage him, and if there's an investigation coming out from Kanu, then we will, of course, follow it up when we get information, of course.
However, sources told this newscast that the probe by Kanu has widened and several persons are on the investigation by the unit. The cocaine was found some 30 minutes from an illegal airstrip in Matthews Ridge.
Yeah, there you have it again. Cocaine, big cocaine boss. He saw it in the thing they warning. And you're going to ask James Singh. James Singh spoke to him while the investigation was ongoing. So nobody sought to tell the commissioner of police that we get this info about a lot of drugs. Why? He himself is admitting he did not know before. He said on tape just now, he just catch them, said on tape that he spoke to while the operation was going on. And you want to tell me this is the person who is competent to lead the force? God help us. God help us if that is the case. And let me tell you, again, before bringing Conway, the time running out and we rapidly. Even again, yesterday morning, they're talking about this improved environment. I learned of a drive-by shooting with a Chinese national sitting in a car. Well, it can't be drive-by, it's a ride-by. Because they said the man was on a motorcycle. The man is critical in hospital, right? The man is critical in hospital. Almost every day is some type of thing. You have, as this man, what your name again? Crandon saying, drive-by shootings, many drive-by shootings. Dready, you get the ones in Durban Street where 2 persons died. You get a man in Middle Road, and all of these things. You get the abduction of Brick. And let me make this point again, because I see Kaichun, not Kaichun, Sabukus and others continue to talk about kidnapping. There's a difference between a kidnapping and an abduction. Let me understand this thing clearly. And even the police are saying that the 2 men who have been charged with abduction, not kidnapping. In law, there's a big difference between an abduction and a kidnapping. And I'm going to leave it there. But every time I come back, I'm going to remind you, go and read it yourself, students. That's your own work. Read it yourself to find out what is the difference between a kidnapping and an abduction. What we have is an abduction. And it is being treated, as far as I see, as yeah, I got to say it because that's what it is. I know the families they are praying that this man is returned safely, but it looks as though the police investigating that they believe that the man done there. Because they went into the Annandale and Boxing Vietnam with dogs and a forensic vehicle. Now, I can't see you carrying dogs on a forensic vehicle if you believe you're going to recover this man or you're going to rescue this man from his abductors. The fact that you get that and the fact that you have a forensic, this new fancy forensic vehicle that you have there, tells me that you're operating on the premise that the man has already been killed. So I don't know, and this is all under the watch, as they want to say, of this present commission. And more ranks withdrawing from the force. They talk about confidence in the thing. Ranks withdrawing by the hundreds, and they're now refusing to accept resignations. So people are just walking off. I'm going to say, well, if they want to take my resignation, I can just stay home. So eventually they're going to dismiss me. Because I ain't get service to get benefits and all of that. Or I got to work when I feel like going to work. And the ones who are inclined to be dishonest say, all right, I can make my run-ins, make me heights, as they would say. They're going to make me heights. That is what is going on in the Guyana Police Force. That is what is going on. And I can't tell them by, they like it so. They like it so. That is why I've said, you have good officers. I would always say they have good, qualified, competent officers. But they are being sidelined for obvious reasons, either because of their ethnicity and because they are not presumed or seen as being favorable to the government. So they can sideline them, and therefore the demoralization continues. And when they make the promotion, because I suspect, as I said, before the end of this week, they're going to make the appointment of commissioner and deputy commissioners, and they might then go with that list that was leaked and make out big promotion and so on, but that is not going to stem the flow. That is not going to cause the public to get more confidence in the police force. That is not going to cause the police force to perform better. And as I've said repeatedly, it is a lack of leadership. You have ranks there, the ranks need leadership. The ranks need proper leadership. And that is what is lacking at many levels. And we talk about leadership, when we talk about leadership at the very top level, we talking about leadership down, maybe from the sergeant in charge of the station, the subdivisional officer, inspector, up to the commanders. And you got to get leadership at all those levels. And of course, the person who points you in the right direction is the man at the very top, the commissioner of police. He has to set the tone. He has to be able to motivate his senior officers, and they in turn will do what they can do to motivate the people. I understand that nothing going on. This body ain't talking to the body, and the body not talking to the body. That is what going on at the top of the force. So how can you get a proper performance like that? This body snitching on the body snitching on the body, and so on. The body snitching. Talking about snitching, I understand snitch visa given away like at cakes, man. Snitch visa. People giving visas. They're getting visa. S visa, as they would call it. Come and talk. Or go and talk what you want to talk. And here, they're doing everything to prevent people from traveling, certain people from traveling to the States, because they remember the Dataram story. They remember Dataram travel and what were, the consequences have not all been known as yet, but they know what is likely to come. I understand snitch visas are giving away. I understand that there are unsealed indictments that are going to be sealed at the right time. All y'all and ball. I know Big Smith said, but I gotta go and me and Conway blood pressure tablet. Let them go to the place they were Brutus stockpile all them toilet paper and get, because while he's saying that our blood pressure will raise, them man gonna shit up themselves. Their body biting, they got shit. Run-ins. And not only the run-ins to get money, the run-ins in the latrine, you better stay there. Stay there. Right? That is what is going to happen. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his closing remarks. CC.
Yeah.
We have come to an end this morning.
Yeah.
Let me hear your views. Your closing remarks, please.
All right. The thing is that, allegation by Brutus that he ain't getting alone. So look out. Look out. Things going to come crashing down. Before long, things going to come crashing. Things in the making. But then I just want to say that apparently the cocaine bus, 4.4 tons of cocaine. They said they finger a senior officer. Well, what happened to the ranks at Matthews Ridge? What happened to the sergeant? What happened to the corporal? What happened to the constables? What happened to the CID? What happened? And most important, what happened to the subdivisional officer who's based at Port Kaichimo? What happened to him? Well, I shouldn't ask her, because I hear that he's a brother-in-law of a very big one in the government. Therefore, nothing on that. And then they can't find, they understand the couriers there who every month used to drop how much thousands of US to a certain police officer at Mabaromo, and also drop about the similar amount for a certain big one at Evelary. So is what we say is like all house, and they're not investigating this matter. They just left it like, don't hope that they do that way. But they will not that way. We'll keep those issues on the front burner all the time.
It's not going to die away, and only because we're going to keep it on the front burner, but because others are looking and observing. Others are looking at all the moves and observing. And let me close by reminding you two things. One, where J.S.K. Lal said, what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what guidelines are for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. That is what GHK Lal said that we have. And then, so let me, and then I can always remind you, hold on. I can't end without
sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims...
Stump. I love it. I don't know if you others enjoy it as much as I do, but I love it. Who? Su? A friend, yeah, my tenant. Oh, God, yeah, sorry there. The thing sweet bad. Folks, we have come to the end of what I believe was another very enthralling session. And thanks for your attendance. Thanks for your continued support. Again, some people have reached out to me to share with them that book on financial literacy. The offer is still there. Anyone who wants to have a copy, electronic copy, just send me your email address. Somebody sent me the email address on Monday, but when I sent it, it returned undelivered. So please check your email address again and send it back. The thing is free, you know. I know you have believe it's a cost attached. Nothing's attached. It's just trying to give you some education about how money works and that type of thing. So yeah, I like share knowledge. Somebody also requested a copy of the Commission of Inquiry into the plot to assassinate President Granger, and I sent the copy. And anyone again who wants, just let me know, and I will send it to you, folks. This is the end of today's program. God's willing, God's spirit life. We're gonna come again on Monday, and as we have always said, if you subscribe and we feel that something is urgent enough for us to come before the scheduled date, we will do so. But you will only know that if you subscribe, so you can get the notification. So stay well, folks. They get drive-by shooting, they get monkeypox, they get fatal accidents galore. I said again, or sometimes somebody killed and all of that. The place is unsafe, notwithstanding what guilty Shara and this man Crandon telling you. The place is unsafe. So you got to be extra careful. You have to protect yourself at all times. So until we meet, stay well and bye.